and body to quote start the prosecution in response to a story from conservative influencer Nick Sorley about protesters burning an American flag. You may recall that he was arrested outside of an ICE facility during a protest and was let go without any charges filed.
President Trump, you mentioned that flag.
What are we going to talk about today?
I don't know.
Oh no.
From that man that was burning it in the streets.
Do you feel like talking about something today?
So why don't you give it to Pam, give it to the Attorney General, and let's start prosecutions.
But the Supreme Court has
I'm not really high on,
objectionable as it may
but
be,
I'll try to
the
get
burning
high.
of an American flag is a form of constitutionally protected free speech. Reporting in studio, Ezra Kaplan, Fox 12 Oregon.
The military now says troops from Texas are protecting federal property in the Chicago area. It comes as the city of Chicago and state of Illinois sued to stop National Guard troops from being deployed to the Windy City. A judge will hear that case today, and the president says he deployed the troops to help protect federal workers and property there. You're watching Local News Live.
Have we recorded my memories of World War II?
The ones where, let's see, you said you had two, right? Two main memories about
Yeah.
it, and you said they were,
Mobile Bay with the German submarine, and the other one was the airplane crash
when you were a child.
when I was a child.
Yeah, thinking that because your brothers were gone, that airplane crash had something to do with them that happened on your farm. Yeah, we did talk about those two. We did. We talked about your Uncle Charles and your aunt.
And one day all of this will be yours.
We talked about your great grandpa.
Don't worry. That's not all I'm leaving you. I just called and got
We hadn't talked a lot about your dad. Not a lot, just hit and miss in those stories.
$7 a month. It'll help cover my final expenses. Oh, Mom, you're
The
not
only
going
place we
anywhere.
mentioned
I was
Dad
planning
was
on it.
in the broadcasting of Black Eyed Peas after a Dust Bowl
Correct.
in the spring.
Yep. Yep.
You can't be turned down due to health.
Sure, there's a lot of things about your dad that are
Just $6.38 per
I gotta
month with
get
most benefits paid
all right.
plus 24 hours. And best of all, your rate will never increase, and your coverage will never decrease. That's our rate lock guarantee. Help protect the ones you love.
Let's see if
Policy
you want
with a
it.
budget-friendly
I'll just
monthly premium and up to $25,000
sort of paraphrase it for you.
The thing about life insurance is it's better to have it and not need it than to need it
I had
and
just
not
been
have it.
checked out
Because once you need it,
on the Super C Farm Mall
Now is the time to call the
to
number in your screen and
cultivate
lock in your
corn.
rate. Leave your family with a financial protection to help cover funeral costs, medical
And
bills,
the
or to use however
Super
you
C
need. Give
Farm
yourself
Mall
the peace of mind, knowing you've done all
was
you
a
can to
two-row
help the ones you love.
device.
did you?
In other words, it plowed 2 rows clean in one pass. Now the other tractor was a Super M Farm Mall. It was a huge tractor, and it could plow 4 rows at a time. My brother Ledford and I were sent to the 10-acre bottom to plow the corn there. My dad stayed at the farm because we had 12,000 laying hens, and he and a couple of helpers were picking up, sorting, and candling eggs, and getting them into the trays ready to go into the incubator to hatch baby chicks.
Okay.
So he was very busy at home, but he come to get us for lunch. and we were down at the far end, and we saw him pull up in the pickup. A few minutes later, we got back to his end, and he motioned, cut him off, and come on. He said, well, boys are making good progress. Let's just walk down through here and look a little bit. We walked down the roads a little ways, and Daddy saw a stalk of corn knocked over. Who plowed this row? Leonard said, Lynn did. Now, see, Ledford's like 13 years old, and I'm like 7.
Okay.
We walked on a little further, and Dad saw some mows there with cotton left, with corn knocked over. Who plowed these rows? Lynn did. Went on down a little further. Who plowed this row? Lynn did. I started crying.
Oh.
I was getting blamed for all the knocked over corn.
Mm-hmm.
But now remember, a 2-row tractor, if it knocks over corn in one row, it knocks over corn in the other row. A 4-row tractor would do the same thing. If you bobbled, it'd get all 4 rows. And my daddy was sharp enough to look down the rows and tell that. I was crying because he was blaming me on everything. And I told Daddy, I said, I couldn't have plowed those rows. And even I explained to him, I said, if it was knocked over in 2 rows, I plowed it. And if it's knocked over in 4 rows, Ledford plowed. And we turned around and walked back to the truck. They said, come on, let's go to lunch. We got back to the truck, and Daddy turned around and told me, he said, now, when you get back from lunch, I want you to drive your tractor back down to the other end, and you just cut it off and get in the creek and swim for a few minutes. Just to cool off. And he said, and Ledford, I want you to get on that tractor and go to the other end and back. Why can't I go swimming? He said, well, we walked down the rows, and every row I pointed at, you said Lynn did. Looks like to me he's plowed most of it all was plowed today. He's the only one that made the mistakes. So needless to say, Dad, he knew he could look down the rows and tell where it was 2 or 4 rows.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the moral of that story is, if you do a whole lot, you're going to have a few errors. And if you don't do nothing, you don't have any errors. So it was sort of just lessons learned as a young person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a good one.
And my dad was very sharp in catching those sorts of things. Without saying much, he could teach a lesson.
Yep.
To sort of end the story, I'd just say that this little short story illustrates my father was not a highly educated man, but he was very smart,
He was wise.
wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm sure you have a lot of stories where his wisdom shined through.
Yeah. Leonard was always quick to blame
Other.
me mostly.
Yeah. Because you were younger. Easier to get away with. Blaming the younger one.
Is that what's telling?
I think. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The story, absolutely. Yeah. I think so.
That is the best tasting flavored water that I've had.
You like the grape one the best. Yeah.
Well, no, the whole package.
Oh, okay.
It was about like the what was it? Pineapple and mango, I think.
Yeah, there's I think there's pineapple and strawberry and pineapple and mango and orange and something.
Orange and pineapple is not a bad drink.
Oh, I think that's what it is. That last little package of had several flavors in it.
That's a damn good Kool-Aid. I don't guess Kool-Aid's around anymore, is it?
It is. It is.
Well, hey there.
Hey.
Hey, was talking to that lady. You wouldn't go in there.
Is it bad?
I have sneezed
Oh,
and
no.
coughed all day. Listen to me. It must be the mold. I told her I can't go back in.
Yeah, I bet it would set my asthma
Oh,
off.
let me tell you,
Yeah.
it would.
Yeah,
Right here, I have used this, Melinda,
Yeah.
all night. I
Oh, no.
sneezed. I'm hoarse.
Oh no.
And I was just telling her she was wanting me to help her. I told her I'd put it on all the sites for her. But I cannot go back in there. The washer and the dryer, she was showing me it's outside under the carpet. But I don't know if I can ever go back over there. It must be like mold, because it's been sitting so
Yeah.
long. And then where they swept up, it's got everything stirred up.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I imagine.
Are the cleaners wearing a mask of any sort?
Are they what, Lynn?
Wearing a mask?
No, they're not. And yesterday when I went in, I didn't, and I'm paying for it.
And she did have a little dog,
Oh,
right?
what?
She had a little dog for long. I used to see a
Pretty
little.
big dog.
Was it a big
Yes.
dog barking over here? So I knew she had a dog in there at one point.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
And, but
Was it dog poop all over the house?
no. See, the dog's been gone for a long time. One of her
Okay.
friends took it when she passed away.
Yeah.
But it's where, like, she made clay and pottery,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Dust.
It's like in the air, and there's mold you know, because it sits so long. You know, you sit and land that if it's
You close
closed
up a house and don't have the air on, everything else gonna be molded in a little while.
Yeah.
I learned that from rental property. You better leave the electricity on
And see,
and
everything's turned on.
have the heat and air adjusted so that it runs at least an hour a day.
And see, everything's off. I told her, I was just talking to her just then. I mean, I'm honest. I said, Mary, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to come back over there and get the washer and dryer. Cause it's sitting under her carport. But, I mean, there's just dust just coming out from there too. Cause they've had to sweep up in there.
Mm-hmm.
But they're having a big estate sale. I don't know how people's gonna go in there without starting to call. I don't know how she's gonna do that.
If you got a two-wheeler,
Oh, what?
two-wheeler,
Hand truck?
Hand truck.
yeah, hand
Oh,
truck.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Gary's got one of those, and I want to ask him when he
Send
sees
Gary
it,
after.
if he knows. I was telling him last night how bad it is because he heard me, and he said, "Oh, I don't know about that." I mean, I don't know if there could be stuff like on the sides that wouldn't be held. I don't know. I mean, I know it's gonna have to be wiped down, but I don't know if there could be stuff like on it that could, I don't really know. I don't know how that works.
Just put you on some gloves and wipe down the outside, and if you get it, and then first wash you do, don't wash anything. Just let
Yeah,
it wash
kinda
run a
scared
couple
me.
of loads.
or loads or whatever. Let it, you know, before
I think
you.
I do the dry the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Let it blow all that shit out it can.
Mm-hmm.
right. There's a bunch of good stuff. But it's getting in there. As soon as you walk in, it just hits you. So I don't know how.
So carpet?
No, it's hardwood
Oh,
floors.
is it? Well,
Yeah.
it'd be worse if it was carpet.
No, it's hardwood
It'd be
floors.
darn.
She said the appraiser came today, and he told her, said, it's not going to be as bad as you think it is. Said it's got a lot of potential. I don't know what that could be, because it's going to take a lot of money to fix that house.
Maybe he said.
$500, she'll get it cleaned up.
Huh?
For $500, she'll get it cleaned up spotlessly.
$500?
Shit.
Lynn, come on.
Look at that look. She's
Come
like,
on,
oh.
you're BSing me.
No.
Come on, $500. You don't know what it looks like in there.
Well, I don't.
The walls, the ceilings, everything's got to be wiped out. Everything.
And painted. And
Exactly.
painted. It'll have to be. It sounds like by what the appraiser said though that the bones are good. If the bones are good and the
Well, I can assure you, all these little houses along here
mm-hmm.
were built by the same man, and in that day, he was known as the builder
Yeah.
and was well respected.
Yeah.
This Myrtle Street at one time was for the mayor, the judges, county sheriff, and so forth. And I talked to a guy who used to live in her house, and he was neighbors, of course, with the people here. And because the mayor and everybody else lived here, they had sawhorses that they put across each end of the road,
Mm-hmm.
and would have street parties and
Yeah, lobby.
play different games in the street.
Yeah, block party. What we call it now,
Uh-huh,
block
yeah.
party. Yeah.
But
Well, he told her one good thing is it's fenced in yard. A lot of people been fixed anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that little building, like you got a little building out
Yeah.
there, said it's got that. He said, oh, naturally, a lot of work's got to be done. Like you said, you know.
Yeah, that little building you're talking about has got 220 or 440 power. It took her a long time to get it wired so that she could,
Oh, really?
so she could run a kill.
Oh, yeah, you know about that then, yeah, 'cause she, whatever that is, kill, I've heard that word.
It's where you cook after you mud is fashioned and you've got your ceramic built, you run it into the kiln and you really bake the mud at quite a high temperature. I don't know how high, but I know she used to run that kiln 24 hours when she started.
Oh, wow.
And I think you also glazing it, right? Then you'd put it in the kiln, not just to bake the pottery, but I'm assuming glazing, if you did a glaze of sort. Heard a lot of talk about glazing on pottery, and I'm assuming it goes in there too. Yeah, I would think so. That's so interesting to me, the pottery and the
I can tell that.
I made one piece of pottery in school back when, and ever since I've always wanted to make pottery. Yeah, give play around with it or whatever. However that turns out, you never know what you want to do till you put your hands into it, and then you kind of.
Oh, wow. Well, I'll tell you, she's got tons and tons and tons of that stuff that she's made that they won't be put it on all the sides here because they're having a big estate sale. And she said she's letting it go for a little bit of nothing just to get it gone. Tons of pottery that's finished.
Well, she used to.
I'd like to.
I recall when FedEx and UPS would stop there once a week and take out boxes. She had an e-store that she put that stuff online and sold it, and then she had to box it up and send it off. And I've seen UPS and FedEx taking their two-wheeler and just a big stack of boxes, make 2 or 3 trips in the house to get stuff.
That's what's really boxed up in there from the floor all the way up is just boxed full of pottery and just stuff she's made.
I can give you, if you're going to be the one helping sell that, create a story. You said that she once upon a time, what did she do? You said she was a
director of Possibility magazine.
Okay, I think if you kind of incorporate a story about her, make it more personal, and even up to what's going on now or whatever, you can generate more sales. You can. But more interest you can put in the story.
She was editor of Possibility.
There you go.
That is something.
There you go. I would put that, and then that's going. Some people, I don't know if the magazine is still exists or if it was.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
You can, You could even possibly contact the magazine with a little short story and about her stuff or whatever, and they could put it in their magazine.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you.
That is something.
If you do something of interest and
now,
story.
y'all know what Possibility magazine is?
I don't.
I don't either.
Well, if you've ever watched any westerns,
Okay.
have you seen a light horse that picks his feet up real high?
Yeah.
Like a walker? No.
Not a walker. Pasifini's got real tiny little legs,
Okay.
and they pick your feet up real high.
Okay. Sound like they prance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And in Florida, there are several large Pasifini breeders. And the New York Jews are heavily influenced down in that area and own a lot of Pasifini horses. And they do a lot of breeding. And if you wanted a Pasifini colt with any sort of pedigree, a 6 to 8 month old yearling, $3,000 to $10,000. I mean, they're not cheap.
No.
And she was editor of that magazine for several years. I don't know how long.
My goodness.
I know when I moved here, I met her, and she'd been an editor a long time then. And she was the editor till about 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they let her go
Oh, really?
due to health, I think.
Yeah.
Does any of her pottery reflect horses?
Honey, yes. It does.
There you go. It just needs the story attached to it.
It sure does. A lot
And
of
get a
it
hold
is
of the
horses.
editor. Get a hold of the editor of this magazine currently.
All I know is somebody in Florida got the job.
It'd be easy to find the information and weave a little story and pottery with horses on it and the editor of the magazine. You could get all kind of interest in that stuff.
Oh, that's
And then possibly a better, outcome of the selling it for her. You said boxes of it?
I'm serious.
Wow. Oh, that sounds like a project.
It
That sounds
is-
like a fun
it is-
project.
It's so much. Before they started moving it around, they pretty much got it to where you can walk in there now. Before, they've worked, so many people's been over there. She hired tons of people over there just to get it to where you could walk in the door.
Wow.
It was just like everywhere.
She had a small space and she had a big heart and a passion of all the things she loved.
She did.
That's what it amounted to.
Yes.
She had an artist heart, creative heart.
She did.
She made the
Yes.
I don't know what else she created. Probably other things besides pottery, maybe even.
Well, if she had been an editor of the magazine for over 20 years, she had to have some creative writing ability.
Yeah,
She,
yeah. Ooh, have you found any manuscripts or anything like that?
I don't know, Melinda. I'll have to ask her friend.
Yeah, there's that can be weaved into a very interesting possibility.
Yeah, I stayed with her up until she.
Yeah.
I wonder, would it be of interest to anyone other than Pasifini breeders?
Oh, I know that.
It would be, I think, because one, if you have a horse, there's as long as you find where your market is and the right, the right people and the right story, you could create especially with social media these days, it's so easy as long as you're putting it in front of the right audience. It's so easy to if one person finds interest in something, especially if you weave a story that pulls on heartstrings, You know, you would have somebody out there would, you know,
Yeah.
you throw the hook out there and somebody could possibly go, and no telling what they could do with the pottery.
Oh my goodness.
Because horses are, you know, you can that's a lot of people love horses.
Yeah, they do.
You know, just like there's audience for people that love cows and pigs. I mean,
Yeah.
you think about it, strawberries. I mean, there's a lot
Right.
of different things that I see people gravitate toward, and you just find your audience.
Well, you know, as a young person, my first love was my Shetland pony,
Mm-hmm.
Shelley. And my second love was Lightning, Tennessee Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
And later, as a grown person, you don't remember Dandy John, do you? I think he was before your time. I think you might remember Dandy.
I was gonna say there was some. What was the name of the one in Missouri?
Dandy.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I remember.
He's the son of Dandy John. And Dandy John was, oh God, he was magnificent. That sucker go to a Tennessee walking show. And when they're performing, they change the music. It starts out slow with a Tennessee walk. And that tail will be over his back, his head up.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, he was sharp. And when I bought him, I got a case full of ribbons, blue ribbons.
Goodness.
And he was 5 years old when I got him, and never bred a thing. And I could put him in the show ring. There'd be mares in there, and so you better settle down. He'd settle right down. And music would shift from Tennessee Walk to a rack, and the music would change, and all I'd ever had to do is just barely pull on the reins. He'd shift gears into the foxtrot or the single foot,
Well trained.
all the way up to the canter.
Hmm.
And every time the music changed, I'd just say, he'd hit the neck. He knew the music,
Oh my.
knew what he had to do.
Show horse.
And I was stupid. I bred him 4 or 5 times. And then the stud came out in him. I went to a little old Clay County show over there between Asheville and Lineville. They used to have a little arena there. And I came up, parked the truck, and here come 2 officials. He said, "Is that a stud?" I said, "Yeah." Of course, he was raising hell. He wasn't out there. He said, "Don't unload him. We won't
Trouble.
take him. We won't take him here."
Oh really?
I had to leave.
Create too much mayhem.
Oh,
Yeah.
after you got the good taste of the life, he was hell to deal with. He'd been such a perfect gentleman. But after he bred 3 mares, he reared up and fell back on me, and
Danger.
it was dangerous. I sold an old man wolf that lived further out our road over in the High Pine community. And he took him in and took the ribbon case and all that. Of course, I'd added another 3 or 4 ribbons. And he took him over there and he said, I can handle him. And after he reared up and fell back on him 2 or 3 times, had him castrated.
Aw. But that's settling down.
Yeah.
Well, it took his mind off ass and put it on grass. And he gained about 300 pounds and
Wow.
ended up founding to death.
Oh, really?
Wow. You remember in the stallion I was riding in Turkey when Arkadosh and the ladies up on the balcony next door were having some sort of tea or something, and I was saddled up and put on Arkadosh, and Arkadosh took off with me, and then there was a mare or something around and took off running, but the saddles kind of slipped to the sideways a little bit, and all those ladies next door were like, oh, screaming, because they're a little 7-year-old blonde-haired girl. But I mean, it just I don't even remember. I mean, it just settled down or whatever he got, because he had blinders. He had those.
No.
He didn't have blinders on?
No, I never had blinders on a saddle horse.
Maybe I just remember somebody saying maybe you should have or something.
No.
But it was, yeah, that
It's
was.
workhorse bridle.
But yeah, okay.
No, you never saw that. I never owned one in my life.
No.
No.
But it was, all the ladies next door were,
When now Arkadosh
little
was
girl.
Arkadosh was a good stallion to me. He was a 9 or 10-year-old, and I've rode him right up beside a mare in heat. He said, so you better settle down. Of course, he was Turkish trained, because they take a green pole that big and warp it right between the ears. That's how they were brutal. I left out there at the farm when I left. Arkadosh's old bit was still there. And the curb inside that bit, that Turkish bit, it wasn't a curb, it was a paddle that went halfway up his mouth. And you sit down on that dang thing, you could bring him to his knees, just about it. What they had for a stud horse bridle was,
Oh, wow.
it was inhumane as hell.
Oh, God.
I guarantee that bit would be illegal in the United States.
Good grief.
That paddle went up 5 or 6 inches into his upper mouth, and when it sat down, it damn near bust the skull.
That's what I was going to say. It had to have went up. Oh, goodness. Yeah, that's inhumane.
All I ever had to do with Arkadosh is say, you better settle down. Calm down. Never hear any more out of it.
Mm-hmm.
See, Turkish belief is you don't castrate the male. So they just beat them into submission. But well, did Arkadas stop, or did you stop him?
It turned out fine in the end. I don't remember. I know my saddle loosened up and I was a little bit sideways, and I remember you getting it and tightening it back down or something like that. But I had to have stopped it. I don't think anybody took off running to it. I mean, I must have.
You must just rubbed back in, and I tightened up the saddle, and you went out again.
Yeah, probably so.
Don't
Probably
remember.
so.
Melinda, how old are you?
61.
61. Wow. And you remember all that.
I was 7.
What a life. You had a very interesting life.
Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah, as a kid, she did a lot of globe trotting.
I believe it, yeah, because I hear the stories and hear her telling of things. And
If I could give one gift, I think, to the world, it would be that all children could have the privilege of traveling around and seeing different people and cultures, and even just in the United States as well, because in regional things can be different, and just to understand that we're really more alike in fundamental ways than we realize we are. Of course, go ahead. There's a lot of different mindset. Now the Turkish, I got some stories I can remember about when we were in Turkey and the Turkish mindset about women, and there was a lot of things that I saw even at 7 years old, and then stories my mom had of couple of incidents that were a bit frightening that happened to her. But we played with the Turkish children. We didn't live on base. We had to me, as a blessing not to. And, interaction. My brother interacted more with the Turkish young men than I did, with people. But I was always tagging along with my brother.
Oh, was you?
Yeah, watching. And he got to play soccer with them out in the field out back. And,
Well, they weren't men, though. They weren't men. Yeah.
They were kids, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
were.
I was 7. He was 11.
That's about right.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
So I got to see things
Now,
from.
you were 7 when you left. When we left there.
I turned 7 while we were there. Yeah.
When we first arrived, you were about 5 years old. Little shit embarrassed me.
Oh yeah.
We
I know
went-
what you're about to tell.
We went to the bazaar, which is like a thrift store. And the farmers always had their booths. And it was a peach farmer. They had a booth, and 3 old ladies sitting behind it. Frau was German. I've forgotten what it was, what you call a female. At any rate, this little shit was about 5 years old. She said, "Peaches, peaches, peaches." And those old girls' eyes got about that big. Because that's bitch, bitch, bitch.
Oh my goodness.
Their eyes got big.
This little bitty tiny white girl pointing at some
She
fruit.
She wasn't running towards those peaches, peaches, peaches.
Oh my goodness.
Leave it to me.
Oh,
Dad said he
man.
got us out of there really
I
quick.
bet.
Really quick.
That's funny.
Yeah. I pulled a couple of good ones on him. I was younger. I think, I don't know, you have to tell me where we were. I think it had to do with somewhere even younger, because I know it did because of the circumstance when we went out to eat and we were sitting at a table to eat, and I was afraid at that point to say anything about getting up and going to the restroom because I had been gotten onto, because I think I used that as an excuse a lot, just to do, whatever. And so we're sitting at the dinner table, and there's something on my plate I did not want.
Oh.
And I guess Dad was reaching over to get something out of my plate that I didn't want. And about the time he reached over my plate to take whatever it was, I guess he wanted it or it was good or whatever, I let out a bloody murder scream in the middle of the restaurant. At the same moment he was reaching over to grab something because I had to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
But it looked
goodness.
like he was taking the little girl's food off her plate.
Oh.
I remember that.
Yeah. And so, he tells it better, but
Oh my goodness.
I seem to always be doing something to keep him on his toes.
She was a mess then, wasn't she, Lynn?
Yeah, she was.
What was that you told me that she would go to the refrigerator and do? Something.
I don't know that. I just, when she was
little.
she was 6 years old before she could ever say refrigerator.
Yeah, that was it. That was cute.
Refrigerator.
I laughed. That was cute.
I don't know of anything her going into it. She loved a refrigerator.
Yeah, that's
She
that's
knew
what it was.
she knew where the milk and the juice and all that was.
Oh! I remember the story. I think that started back maybe when we got to Germany, and we were staying somewhere before we ended up getting our permanent residence or something. But I had been on a long flight, and I was so happy.
Oh yeah. That's when you threw a fit when we finally got into family quarters.
Okay, and then that's when I said it.
Refrigerator.
I said, it's got a refrigerator and everything. Because we'd been traveling from the United States to Germany, and we'd been staying in somewhere before our quarters were ready. And
Oh wow.
and I ran in there. I was probably, 3 years old? 2 years old. 2 to 3, and I ran in there, and I was just...
Refrigerator.
I was happy because the place had a refrigerator. Yep. That's the story that I remember
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
you telling.
Her biggest one. We were going to Germany, and we said goodbye to all the family and was headed to Atlanta to catch a plane. No, we were headed to New Jersey. And we were headed toward Heflin to get on the interstate system. And we got to the Clay County line, and I said, well, bye-bye, Clay County. And Melinda said, are we there?
Oh my goodness.
So after, 15 or so hours in the car, we arrived at Fort Dix. And checked in immediately to visiting officers' families' quarters. And and I had to go check in and go through the orientation to go to Germany and so forth. And I spent 3 or 4 days in orientation and codes, customs, and traditions of the German people, and I think about 3 or 4 hours of German speech. Which way to the bus stop, which way to the train stop, which way to the airport. Where's the restaurant we can eat at? There's a few words that I had to learn. But I think we were in family quarters 4 or 5 days. And it was right next to the officers club. So we drove to the officers club and eat and come back. Just walked back to our quarters because I'd already turned the car in. It was on the way to Germany. I had to drive it from Fort Dix to Bayonne and turn it in. And carpool back with several others. And finally the day come to fly. And the little old shit was 2 years old. We got on that plane and trying to keep her in a damn seat was all that way.
Oh.
Germany.
It was about a 12-hour flight.
Oh, me.
And
Ooh.
she was totally, she wore me out.
I bet. That's a long flight.
Trying to catch her, she'd try to jump out of her seat. Needed some exercise, but
Oh, me.
getting her back in her seat and getting her buckled back up. Well, we got to Germany. Our bags were lost.
Oh, my goodness.
Didn't have a thing but the clothes on our back. Waited around the airport for several hours and got all the paperwork filled out to get our bags. Got on a train and left Frankfurt, headed for Göppingen. We got to Göppingen and met our sponsor. And he drove us to visiting officers' quarters. We checked in there. And 2 or 3 days later, well, next day, I guess, we got family quarters. And that's when she, free. But that wasn't the worst of the arrival. It was like a Wednesday or Thursday. And Friday night was meet and greet. Of course, we called it hail and farewell. All those that going away got to stand up and say a little something. And then they got around to us newcomers, and we got to stand up and tell a little about ourselves and introduce our wives. But our children were invited too. The children were taken downstairs and they had a good playroom, and of course they were fed and so forth. But it was well into the meal that I heard this awful scream coming up the steps.
Oh, my goodness.
And I knew it was her. what had happened was the kids had their play period and then they had their food, and then they were going to watch a movie. Well, the first scene in that movie was a plane taking off.
Oh my goodness, I could only imagine.
She jumped up and started screaming and running upstairs. The little shit hated an airplane after that.
Oh my goodness.
I'd been through an ordeal. I was not getting back on the airplane. Of course, I don't remember, but the story being told. As much as it must have devastated me to see that plane take it off on that movie screen after all we've been through.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, she raised hell. I said, my God, that's Melinda. And Martha, her mother, jumped up and hauled ass toward the scream and went back downstairs. I didn't see Martha for 30 minutes.
Oh goodness.
And she finally got her soothed and come back up. But they had skipped me because it got to the M's and it was my turn. They skipped me. And we had 3 or 4 others beyond the M's. And I don't remember what the names were. Something like Young is right over next to the end of the alphabet anyway. And then we getting down to the very last that I was getting ready to have to introduce myself and say, and my missing wife. And Martha got back just in time.
Yeah.
And you remember when you went to the crypt and come back with finger joints
No.
at Pamukkale?
Oh. Well, sort of. I mean, I remember Pamukkale well. The main thing I remember about Pamukkale was more of sitting in that warm spring with all the columns in it and sitting in there. It was really nice.
Well, right next to Pamukkale was an exit, a graveyard. And several of the crypts had been knocked open and robbed of.
Yeah.
Because most of the crypts were from around 1400s. And when Alexander the Great came through there, if he saw a nice big crypt, he'd break into it and take any jewels or gold that was in it. And the little ship went into a crypt and picked up.
Of course I did.
Picked up, I'm talking about a wad of finger joints and toe joints and so forth.
Oh man.
Come back out and go show me her treasures.
Oh my goodness.
I said, you go back right now and put these back in there.
It was robbing a grave.
Yeah, really, I know. Oh my goodness.
Telling whose fingers I had.
That's true. Oh man, Melinda.
That's pretty much what I remember. I do remember I got in trouble and telling me to put them back. course, that would have been when I was more like 6.
Yeah, you 5 or 6. Yeah. We hadn't been there very long, but I was very interested in the 13 cities of Asia Minor, and I was trying to visit as many as we could. But hell yeah, she was getting the loot out of those crypts.
Oh my goodness. She was a mess, wasn't she?
Of course, Alexander the Great had made it pretty easy. The doors were all knocked in and the body's gone except for remnants like finger joints and toes.
Oh goodness. Well, I gotta go in here and get busy. You must be washing clothes, Melinda, are you?
I'm finished. I just got to put that last bit in the dryer.
How are you feeling today?
I feel pretty good.
Do you?
Yeah.
Good. The nurse came and seen him, Melinda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just pray to the good Lord I continue.
You will. She think he was doing good.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. That's great. I told him he looked great and everything. He does.
Thank you for saying so.
You do. You really do.
Yeah, I know damn well you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Lord.
It's always one in every crowd.
Absolutely. And
Always
he's the-
one. Yep.
Oh, goodness. Well, you're something else. That's all I know. But everybody loves you, though. So be glad of that. You're a mess, but everybody loves you.
Well, I'm happy you think so anyway. I got at least one supporter. Fan club.
Oh, man. Hey, bud.
Well, what you don't know is we've been recording a whole time.
Have we?
Yeah. Yeah. Ever since you came out here and sat down. So I'm gonna close this session off. We're I can't see how long into. Pretty good one. So say bye-bye, folks.
Goodbye, folks.